Hi, welcome to Coffee and Connections at the Wolfeboro Public Library. I'm Cindy Scott, I'm the library director, and today I have with me Helen Gallagher and Lynn Clow, both library employees. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the books that we like and other books that we would recommend reading, staff favorites. Everybody on the library staff has different interest areas, different books that they like to read, and a lot of questions that we get are about what are similar authors to this particular author, or I like to read light mysteries, or I like to read World War II books. Various members of the staff know about different areas of our collection, so you can start to know who on the library staff you might want to talk to get some ideas from. Plus, we also have some databases that we can look at and help you come up with similar authors or authors in an area that you're interested in. So the first book I'm going to talk about today is called Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. This is a young adult novel that is very hard to put down, and it's about what makes a person human. There's a robot and various people from different cultures, from different planets, and it's quite an exploration of what is human.
So a book that I really enjoyed and have recommended to other people is called The Last Days of Night by Graham Moore. This book is about Edison and his light bulb, and Westinghouse and his apparently believed to be improved light bulb, and the lawsuit brought by Edison on Westinghouse. And it was all based on trying to be the first person to have electricity across the whole United States. While the lawsuit's going on, Tesla becomes involved because he finds and discovers a whole new way for electric current to be delivered, and then a whole battle ensues as to who should go from the from the direct current to the alternating current that Tesla invents. So it's an interesting book.
The first book I'm going to recommend, I just read recently, came out about a year ago, and it was a National Book Award finalist and also one of New York Times Book Review's 10 Best of 2017. I'd really like to see that people keep reading it. It's heartbreaking and compelling, and it draws you in from the opening sentence, which is, "History has failed us, but no matter." It chronicles 4 generations of a Korean family and depicts how they live in Japan and are never really accepted. It gives you a real sense of normal people and how they live when they're persecuted and really trying to survive in a tragic period.
My second book is called Sudden Sea, and it's by R.A. Scotty. It's about the Great Hurricane of 1938, which had such a devastating impact on New England that anybody in the older generation definitely remembers when this hurricane went through. It did damage, including to the New Hampshire forests with salt and high winds. So I would recommend this as a great way to learn about this tragic and important historical event.
My second book is the latest in a series by Louise Penny. And she is an award-winning author. So here at the library, we have a 7-day book, we have a regular book, and we also have a book on CD or a book on tape. So Louise Penny has the same characters. In this latest book, her characters are developed all the way through, but she uses the same characters and then spotlights different characters. The book takes place in Canada and in the province of Quebec, and it focuses on an Inspector Gamache. So that is the premise of the story. We also have Louise Penny's books available on downloadable or in downloadable form, so that you could download an ebook or an audiobook. Again, she's a very popular author, and if you like mysteries and the police and kind of a gentler way of finding who did it, then Louise Penny might be for you.
The next book that I want to talk about is The Crossing Places. I lead the mystery book discussion here every other month, And this was one of the most popular books in our mystery book discussion last year. And it actually got the members of our groups wanting to read all the rest of the books in the series. It's a Ruth Galloway series by Ellie Griffiths, and Ruth Galloway is a forensic archaeologist that lives in coastal England, and she solves some very interesting crimes.
My third book is Jacqueline Winspear's Maisie Dobbs, first book in her series, and one of the things that makes this so interesting is the character develops throughout the series and has a lot of interesting historical events happen to them. It takes place right after World War I, and it's up into the World War II period now. A lot of people like it because they're intelligent mysteries.
So my next book is called A Moveable Feast. Lynn and I have put together a bio book group that meets Tuesday nights every 6 to 8 weeks, here at the library. And this Moveable Feast is by Ernest Hemingway. It is considered a memoir or biography put together after he died by his fourth wife. And interestingly enough, the Moveable Feast is actually about his life with his first wife in Paris. So it's some of his letters, some of his comments, and also talks about places that still exist and addresses in Paris. We are also, along with this book, our book group will meet on Tuesday, April 24th. So we also liked to recommend another book, a fiction book called The Paris Wife. That's by Paula McLean. That's a fiction, but it's about the same time period. And Hemingway Women, which is a nonfiction book. And that one is also where we're recommending to get a complete picture of Ernest Hemingway right around the time that he lived in Paris in the 1920s.
My final book that I'm going to talk about is Shutter Island. It's been out for a while. It's by Dennis Lehane. It's going to be the next book that we're going to talk about in our mystery book group. That meeting will be on March 30th, Friday, March 30th, and we're going to show the movie that's based on this book as well. It's set in the 1950s, and a U.S. Marshal, Teddy Daniels, comes with his partner to a psychiatric hospital on an island to investigate the disappearance of a criminally insane woman. It's very dark, there's lots of twists and turns, and I think people have a lot of fun with it.
Now, our children's librarian, Barbara Widmer, couldn't be here, but she asked me to mention some books. So the first one I want to talk about is called Motor Goose by Rebecca Colby. And basically it takes a series of poems and sets them to nursery rhymes. And it uses a lot of vehicles. A lot of children really like various kinds of vehicles, and it's a lot of fun for a parent to read to a child. Both the child and the parent have a lot of fun with it. She also wanted me to mention this young adult novel, The Hate You Give, by Angie Thomas, and the main character of this book witnesses a crime of murder of one of her friends, and then begins to do what she can to make an impact about this. It's very much in accordance with what's in the news these days. And then finally, Miki Hashimoto has written a book about taking a trail, and the trail runs from, it's on the Appalachian Trail from Velvet Rocks, New Hampshire to Katahdin, Maine, and it's a personal quest of redemption. So that's just a few of the books in the library. We'll bring some more again in the future, but thank you very much.